All right, it's that time of year. We're going to talk about classifying angles. Ready? It's the most wonderful time of the year. Classifying, aka, it means naming. There are lots of different angles out there. As I have shown on this paper, we have angles that are straight, we have angles that make a nice square, and we have angles that are really wide like this. The angle is going to be from one side to the other. Right here we have an angle, right here we have an angle. There are lots of things around the world that make angles, just right here in our classroom. We talked yesterday about intersecting lines, lines that cross. Within those lines that cross, there are angles right here, and right here, and right here, and right here. There are 3 different types of angles. There are 4 different types of angles. They are named acute, obtuse, right, and straight. Now I know you know what a right angle is because we talked about it yesterday with perpendicular lines. So here is my example of a right angle. Boom. Angles always have arrows on the end of them, and they usually have 3 points. One right here where the lines meet, called the vertex. One right on this side, and then one on this side. And usually we name those. So this one might be A, oops, B, C. Okay, so an acute angle, we're going to use that protractor, and we're going to measure angles that are less than 90 degrees. So on these, we have the arrows on the one side. We have a point where the 2 lines meet. That's called our vertex. We have a point on each one of the rays that are going out from there. And then we have to name it. So we got J, S, L. All right. Remember that angles can go either direction. They can open either way, and we're always going to measure this part of the angle. We're measuring the vertex part. So when we use our protractor, we have to put it on the vertex. Remember that for a little bit later. Obtuse angles. So acute angles are angles that measure less than 90 degrees. And obtuse angles are going to be those angles that measure more than 90 degrees. We always have 3 points per angle. And when we name this angle, we have to make sure that we put the vertex letter in the middle. So I might name this angle, I would say this angle is angle DML. M is in the middle because it's the vertex angle. This straight angle might be a new angle to you. This is going to be a straight open angle, and it's going to have 3 points on it. It looks like a line, but it's going to be a straight angle. It measures exactly 180 degrees. 180 degrees, and it's going to have letters on there on points, just like the acute or the obtuse or the right angles. So a right angle is going to measure 90 degrees. An acute angle is going to measure less than 90 degrees. An obtuse is going to measure more than 90 degrees. And then a straight angle is going to be 180 exactly. Okay, so let's think about how we might classify or name this angle. The first thing we would look at is hey, wait, we don't have any letters on here. So we might want to add some letters there. Of course, I'm going to go my classic. But then we're going to find out where the vertex is. So remember, the vertex is, this line is our start, and our angle opens up to this line. So our vertex is going to be right here. And we would put a right there is where our vertex is at. So we are measuring that angle. So when we use our protractor, right there, that spot right there is where our protractor is going to line up. Okay, so what you're looking for on your protractor is that point. In the other two protractors, it had a little dot. In this one, it has a cross. So you see underneath that the vertex is right where these two lines cross. Boom, boom. And then the part of the angle follows all the way down and is as close to lined up with right here as possible. Because we're measuring this part of the angle, we want to make sure that we start with our low numbers. Because I could use this protractor on the other side and it would measure an obtuse angle, but we want to start with low numbers. So we start low and go higher, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and we stop. Well, here's our 60 line. It's right before there, so we would say this angle, because it's all lined up here with the vertex and it's lined up on that line, this angle is going to be about 59 degrees. To be able to use the protractor effectively, it has to be lined up right here. Otherwise, we're not measuring from where this line is to this line is. And because this total is less than 90 degrees, we would classify this angle as an acute. Classify means name it. So this is an acute angle. It's a cute little angle. If you saw an angle like this, notice that it is a straight line, and you might think, well, two rays aren't meeting together. But they are right here at this point. This ray is going this way, and this ray is going this way. And when you see an angle like this, if you're asked to classify it, automatically your brain should be going, well, that's a straight line, so it must be a straight angle. It measures 180 degrees. If I were to name this angle, I would say this is angle. I always have to put the vertex in the middle. So I'd say this is angle RPQ. Somebody said, name that angle. You would name it angle RPQ. And we would say angle RPQ is 180 degrees. Just looking at this angle, you can kind of tell what type it is. Remember, you have four choices. You have acute, obtuse, right, or straight. Because this one's not a straight line, you can tell that this is not a straight angle, so that's out of the running. It also does not make a perfect L, so we know it's not a right angle. So our choices are between an acute angle or an obtuse angle. Well, just looking, we might be able to tell that this angle is going to be bigger than 90 degrees. But we also need to be able to show with our protractor. So we're going to look at our protractor. We want to find this little dot right here and this little line. This line needs to line up with one of these lines, okay? And that way we're on point to be able to measure it correctly. This is not lined up. As you will see, this line right here has to be on the angle measure here, or it has to be on this side of the angle. This is not lined up. Okay, so now it's as lined up as it possibly could be. This black line is lined up with the ray over here of the angle. It's lined up right on the vertex, and it's pointing this way, so we're going to start with the lower of the two numbers. So because it's opening this way, we're going to start here with our low number and go up and get bigger and get bigger and keep going until we get all the way to our other line over here. Well, it looks like it's in between 150 and 160. So we could estimate or exactly pinpoint that it's bigger than 150 but smaller than 160, and it's kind of right in the middle there. So this one would be a measure of 155. And then we think, is this acute or obtuse? Because those were our two answers. And this is bigger than 90 degrees, so this angle would be obtuse. Okay, so if somebody asked me to name this angle, I would have to look at my points, remembering which point goes in the middle. You have to put the vertex as the middle point when you're naming it. So this angle would be angle MSL. I could also say that this angle is LSM, but the vertex is always in the middle. There's no ifs, ands, or big booties about that. We have to put the vertex right there in the middle. It goes in the middle. Okay, so we're going to do some practice at the table. My letter today is A. A is my secret letter. You can go ahead and if you have a guess, you can submit it in, you can write me a little note, or you can write it on your assignment. When I check, I'll go ahead and see it. Yeah, happy mathing.